If you were one of the 2,000 people who experienced the first version of this video, no, you're not experiencing deja vu. Yes, this is a re-upload. I hate having to take videos down, but about 12 hours after I uploaded the original cut, that video was copyrighted by Smosh. There was absolutely no copyright infringement going on there. Everything was incredibly fair use. And I should be clear, I don't think any real human being from Smosh copyrighted the video. I know that there are third-party companies in place and automated systems to take down videos that they think are stealing content. It just is very frustrating as a small creator to have to put up with that bullshit, especially when everything was used in fair use. The video you're about to see is exactly the same, except that I re-edited all the Smosh bits. I took a lot of chunks out. I didn't use a ton of footage from Smosh, but even the small bits I did use, I severely cut down. I also went back to the old dark ways, the forbidden magic of avoiding copyright claims. I dusted off the old Family Guy best moments 1 hour best of compilation method. When it gets to the Smosh parts, there's going to be all sorts of filtering and zooms and pitch shifting. It's basically a fucking seasickness simulator. So I do apologize for that, but I didn't want to take any chances. I did switch the original video with the longer Smosh bits over to members only, and I think a few people have already become members to see that, so thank you if that's you. Appreciate that. I set my channel memberships to as cheap as they could possibly be. I don't do a ton of stuff over there, but I will be making an effort to get early releases out to members only. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. There's one subject that never ceases to bring a smile to my face. It's something that I have covered extensively. I've probably done maybe half a dozen videos on it. That would be youth on the internet faking mental illnesses for attention.
I'm disabled.
I truly think like the last 5 to 10 years, we've seen a pandemic of faking mental illnesses, which is a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy because obviously there's something of a mental illness happening itself there. But as with all internet movements, eventually some people grow out of it. And I've noticed a bit of an influx of people waking up to the fact that they were full of shit, which is good because ultimately faking mental illnesses or ailments of those sorts of kinds ultimately are detrimental to the people who do have mental illnesses or particular disabilities because it makes everybody take them less seriously. I've even seen instances in which people who had legitimate diagnosed schizophrenia, for instance, were accused online of faking it because faking schizophrenia was such a booming fad that everybody was trying to hunt down schizophrenia fakers for sport. Anyway, as I said, there are many people who are now currently waking up to the fact that either they themselves in their youth were full of shit or people they knew when it came to supposed undiagnosed disorders. Former disorder fakers, what influenced you to do it? I started faking DID in middle school. This would be dissociative identity disorder, otherwise known as the sensationalized Hollywood version of schizophrenia, a la the movie Split. It first started as those cringe, I have a dark side thing kids do. I didn't know about DID at the time. Eventually, I found this friend that claimed something similar to DID but never labeled it. Essentially, the friend said that she had other beings living in her head. She said she would work with her and sometimes take control. She even said she had a demon in her that would turn her eyes black and would hurt people. I ended up finding DissociaDID. I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce that. I know the channel she's talking about, though. And everything went downhill from there. This is a channel that I've talked about before. They have over 1 million subscribers. Over 1 million subscribers is wild. And they're a DID influencer. A lot of young people are being influenced by this person. This person very much sensationalizes the concept of DID. They make it seem quite cool, I would imagine, if you were 12, 13, whatever, the way she portrays it, it would feel like a superpower.
Hello everybody, this isn't Mike yet, this is Kaya, but in his video, he talks about not being able to find his beanie. This hat is Mike's hat. Wanted to let you know what it looks like, we found it. Mike is also relatively co-con in front with me. It's my fucking turn. I'm not supposed to be doing this. My name is Mara. I'm the first persecutor to be on the channel. Although technically I'm a persecutor protector. I'm rehabilitating. But Kaya's been preparing to film an update video that everybody's been asking about. That meant that they wanted to put on makeup today. And that appears to be a positive trigger. So I try to make myself look a little bit more like myself. There's nothing I could do about my hair. Kaya's standing right over my shoulder. I'll be nice. Just let me...
I've seen this video before. This video never gets old. We got a lot of people in that little body. We got the demon altar. We got Kyle. Is there a vampire in there too? I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. Would not be out of character. Subsystems? Oh my gosh. So we have like a Inception. We have altars who have altar systems inside the altar. Okay. Anyway, so that's who this person is talking about. I ended up finding DissociaDID, and everything went downhill from there. I went full faker, alter names, inner dating, source calls, etc. What the fuck's a source call? A source call refers to when a person who identifies as a fictional or factual interject within a system, or someone who is fiction kin, makes an announcement to find and connect with other people who share the same fictional or factual origin or source. It is a way to find and reconnect with source mates who were inspired by the same source material. There you go. I even modded multiple system Discord servers. I did it because I wanted to be special at first, but it eventually just turned into a full-blown delusion. Once I started realizing what I was doing, I tried to tell my friends online that I was faking. They all fed into the delusion, telling me it was normal and expected for me to think I'm faking, all because I previously said I had DID. I ended up leaving most online spaces, made new accounts, etc. Now I'm actually living life, and it honestly sucks. I find myself missing everything. I miss my alters, even though they were never really there. I miss the feeling of community between all of the people claiming to have DID. It was addictive in reality. There's like a thing where you become part of a system, not a system like they're talking about, but a system of actual other real human people. That becomes your community. And it's structured around a religion. Let's call it what it is. The thing that's tricky about religions is it's very expensive to start questioning them if you're part of one. Because very often, your entire sense of community and thereby self-worth collapses were you to unplug yourself. I did it mostly for attention because I noticed that DID systems tend to get more attention, understanding, and etc. by friends of systems. I was never given attention and was neglected as a kid. Also, it was a way for me to express different emotions and unhinged thoughts and my diagnosed autism while having a reason to be fully unmasked or unhinged by placing it all onto an altar. I also loved role-playing a lot, so it was a way for me to do that and use it as an escape. I don't do it anymore and confess to my friends that I faked it, lost some of them, which was expected, but I learned my lesson. I did a lot of research on DID before I even thought of faking because I'm fascinated with psychological stuff. Still doesn't make it right, but I was young and stupid when I did it. I was convinced that I had DID from my ex because she also made me believe she had DID, so I trusted her. But in the meantime, she was grooming others and being overly controlling. She also made a lot of our online friends believe they had DID or OSDD themselves. Any religion needs converts. You need it to grow. All right, let's hear about this new altar. Lila, 19 to 21. 19 to 21? Well, what age are you? Me dressing the body in the sluttiest way possible. Okay.
Back with another milk. Help!
Okay. Alia, 18 to 23. Me stuck in the co-front, unable to leave. We got a Muslim altar. So we have a slut main and a Muslim trapped inside her. I'm sorry, Muslims. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This doesn't represent us, okay? We split Jesus Christ. I'm Jewish. Well, I hope Jesus is okay in there. Please don't do anything to him. I have 4 introjects of Jacksepticeye. You have 4. You have 4 Jacksepticeyes. You have 4 of this guy. Nobody needs that many Jacksepticeyes inside them. 1 would be far too many for me. Was 3 not enough? Was 3 not enough? Did you have 3 babbling, oily Irishmen inside your body? And you were like, you know what? This doesn't feel right. I know what we need. 1 more Jacksepticeye. We literally have someone named Tired Emoji. Well, that's very interesting. You're a very interesting person. System, cis, perns, she, we, her. Am I having a stroke? What is that? Ethnicity, black, Asian, Hispanic. All of them? Okay. Now I know what you're thinking. Can they say it? Obviously, not my place to speak on that.
Hi guys, fuck off. So, I fuck you, 'tis up my nigga.
Okay, well. That wasn't a DID person, though. That person supposedly had Tourettes. So that's a different story. So she literally can't control herself. She has no choice in the matter. That was an unconsensual N-bomb. Dissociative identity disorder is, in my experience, probably the biggest of the faked disorders, but there are countless others as well. There was an influencer by the name of Ticks and Roses who was kind of famously outed for being an obvious fake. Packing orders with Tourettes. Here we have a horrific Tourette's episode happening.
Oh god! Moving on. Send me to Canada! I'll get her a new one. Wow! 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 Eat the burrito. Nope. No. One for you! Woo! Woo! Pew! 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 Mine. 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 Nope. Nope. Nope.
I really like that you can tell this is a handheld video. That means there's someone behind the screen just being like,
Wow! Eat the burrito. Nope. One for you.
I used to fake tics in 2020, probably for attention and to seem interesting, and or mimicking other people I saw online. I mean, my psychologist said I could have some anxiety twitches sometimes, but that's nothing compared to what I pretended to have. Over time, it got tiring to keep up, and the whole thing ended on its own. I faked autism when I was 13 because I really wanted people to think I was cool, and I thought people would think it was cool if I said I was autistic. I never faked any traits of autism, just told people I had it. Now, the reason I put faked in quotation marks is because, ironically, I was actually diagnosed with autism last year. I fully thought I was faking it at the time, but it turns out the whole time I was faking being autistic, I actually was. This is the most autistic thing I've ever heard. Just relax, all right? Go microwave yourself a nice warm plate of dino nuggets. Put some ketchup on that bitch and chill out. I love how autism presents itself. And we have a shelf with 3 plants and some Blu-ray DVDs. And The Sopranos. Everything is autism. My hands aren't completely clean here. I have like hinted at maybe I have autism before, but I only say that because I've been accused of having autism a lot. I've never said I have it. I've just been accused, and I think maybe some people are onto something. I don't know. I'm a man of my word, by the way. Professional evaluation at 1 million subscribers. That still stands. At 1 million subscribers, I will get a diagnosis, and we will find out. Just wanted to come on here and say I am not proven autistic. And in the United States of America, it is not autistic until proven autistic. That's the way it works. I have felt like faking disorders for attention. Not sure what to do. Please no hate. This is hard to admit. Ever since 2020, I have lost more and more friends until I only had one who doesn't have time for me. I was taken out of school from trauma and have been in and out of schools, now out of one for a year. I have tried to stay social in any way I can, whether it be literally forcing myself to have imaginary friends or chatting with AI bots. I am professionally diagnosed with anxiety, depression, PTSD, ASD, and ADHD. I meant faking the common mental disorder stuff everyone's heard is faked. Someone says, wait, I'm confused. What exactly do you pretend to have or wanted to pretend to have? No judgment, all love. I was thinking DID specifically. Again, DID is kind of like the rock star of the disorders. It's the flashiest. It's the most sensationalized, the most Hollywood. It allows you to open up worlds within worlds within worlds of systems within systems within systems. 1 year since I stopped faking DID. Hello, my name is Val, not my real name. I'm 15 and I stopped faking DID a year ago. Do not send me validation. This wasn't your fault. You were young, etc. I've been debating making this post because I still crave the validation mentioned in my story, but in order to fully close this shitty chapter of my life, I feel compelled to share my experience to hopefully stop others going through what I went through. This, off the bat, feels like an incredibly mature thing for someone who's only 15 to be realizing about themselves and taking accountability for. I discovered DID when I was 12 in 2020 through Anthony Padilla's DissociaDID video. Again, the amount of people who have fallen prey to this chick. And kids, man. Generally always kids. And that's not kids' fault. Like, you're vulnerable if you're a kid. But if you're like 12, 13, and you see this articulate, attractive young woman talking about all these personalities she has, all the demon personality and the skater girl personality, the computer hacker personality, why wouldn't you start to question things? And why wouldn't you, as a young child, attempt to start manipulating your reality to feel a little bit cooler, to feel better about yourself? And then you have Anthony Padilla, one of the goats of YouTube, one of the original cool guys on the internet. I spent a day with multiple personalities. I love how they had her for the thumbnail act out the multiple personalities with making different faces. I think that's pretty poetic in its own way.
Thank you so much for coming out about the wondrous world of dissociative identity disorder.
Anthony, there's so much to learn.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so interesting and cool, guys. Kids, look at this. Look at all this. Look at this. Look at this. Children.
I consider myself being part of the DID system. So you could say somebody with dissociative identity disorder.
I can't take this guy's performative, empathetic faces. I feel like he practiced them in the mirror.
Is there anything that you'd want to say to them? Any kind of advice that you'd want to give them?
I say...
And you can say that to camera.
The camera?
Yeah.
Without the man behind the camera. I have such good hair.
Yeah, doesn't he?
It's so good.
She's being a kid right now, I believe.
It feels like you're going crazy and there's no way anyone understands. And there's no way you can have a good life. And this is it. It's gonna be bad life forever. I'm sorry.
It's okay, don't be sorry.
And you can too. You can too. Are you feeling lonely right now? Open up your soul.
What happened?
I don't remember the name. Years old.
Oh, okay.
Gave a really good response?
Can I still do it too?
You want to do it too?
I do. It's okay to take your time with it. Nobody's entitled.
Oh, the fucking piano music with the emotional piano music. I see. I wonder if they would have still tried to like play this angle if she had like Jamal come out after the little girl and give his 2 cents. What if Jamal, the straight shooting 90s hip hop artist from the streets of Brooklyn, came out trying to spit his truth? Would they still have put the emotional piano music behind it?
Tis up, my nigga.
What if Jacksepticeye showed up and Jacksepticeye had 4 Jacksepticeyes? What if Jacksepticeye was Jacksepticeye? Am I making sense? Oh, so anyway, if this video happens to do any numbers and Mr. Smosh, Anthony Padilla himself, happens to see it, Anthony, I want you to know this video is directly responsible for this story that we're reading about this 12-year-old. So just, keep that in your mind for what it's worth. I discovered DID when I was 12 in 2020 through Anthony Padilla's DissociaDID video and binged all of their videos while I was depressed during lockdown. I was going through, like a lot of people, an incredibly difficult time of my life. Suicidal, isolated, getting back into self-harm after being clean for years. That really sucks. I was introduced to the concept of PTSD through DissociaDID, and I started realizing that I had it. I've been diagnosed with nothing and refused to self-diagnose in any way. Trauma was resurfacing, relatively shallow things like bullying and childhood emotional neglect. I followed systems on Instagram and joined Discord to finally be able to talk to people again. The servers were full of unstable teenagers. It absolutely sucked. We were each other's therapists. They were constantly telling me how they wanted to kill themselves, telling me about their self-harm, their eating disorders. There were a decent number of suicidal scares and alleged attempts. One day, someone started saying they had DID. I was constantly disassociating from myself, feeling empty and severely suicidal. I had one attempt. There was one night during summer when my family and we don't need to go into all of that. I got a notebook and wrote down the names, ages, and genders of my alters. I think there were initially 12 children, adults, teens, 1 or 2 fictional characters. I definitely took a page out of DissociaDID's Alters Intros book. I created a new Discord account, joined the server, and immediately posted introductions for every one of my alters. For the next month, I lied about my life and my trauma. I would answer questions about DID that I knew nothing about. I've always had a privileged life with a stable household. The only serious abuse that I'm aware of now was sexual abuse at the hands of a family member, but this wasn't something I knew back then. Things make sense. Like a whole slew of terrible psychological ramifications happen following things like that, unfortunately, happening, whether you remember it or have blocked it out. But because I knew DID could only be caused by horrid trauma, I just made it up. I said that my mother was a Christian fanatic, that I got in a car accident. I felt horrible and paranoid about people finding out I was lying, but to me, it seemed like the only way out. I started weeding in actual things from my life: self-harm, suicidality, body issues. It stopped being a character I played, and over time, the fake trauma was erased and replaced by my real, considerably less severe trauma. It does sound like you went through some real trauma if the sexual abuse you reference is real, so I wouldn't be too dismissive of that. It was becoming me, and eventually I was completely convinced that I actually had DID. I was addicted and obsessed with Discord. It became my entire life. My social and academic life crumbled. I would be role-playing as anime characters in class, on the bus, at home, everywhere. I had no hobbies except Discord. I stopped making art and had no friends or loved ones. Then came the system servers. I initially joined a handful, and they were absolute cesspools of echo chambers, manufactured drama, and horrible people with horrible advice. A completely new world of people saying they had 70, 100, or 500 alters was revealed to me, at that point having amassed around 30 alters and using Plural Kit with aesthetic, detailed descriptions for a decent number of my alters. Plural Kit. So we have full-on plugins now for maintaining a multiple personality system. The oldest people I met in those servers were 31, 30, and in their late 20s. All of them had this sense of entitlement about them. They were the oldest, the smartest, They had the last word and everyone listened to them. They were also the most immature and horrid people I had ever met. That checks out. 31-year-old constantly cried about how stressful owning a system server was, how they wanted to kill themselves, finding ways to blame it on the teenage members. The 30-year-old alarmingly and illegally stalked a 16-year-old member by finding their legal name on their PayPal and contacting their parents because they had drama online. I remember 20-year-olds having DDLG fetishes. It was a breeding ground for grooming, and I briefly fell victim to it, being pressured into very sexual talk with someone who was older than me, who also groomed other young members in the same trap. There were also adults who I considered at the time being rational. They would falsely correct you on medical aspects of the disorder you convinced yourself you had, always with the same sense of entitlement and superiority because they were so knowledgeable. There's such a special place in hell for people who misguide children. When you're messing around with someone's mind in this way, you are playing with hardware that, if corrupted, could change their life forever. And that hardware, the hardware being the synapses of your brain, are vulnerable. They're fleshy and moldable because they're still forming when you're 16. This person then goes over a few different, I guess what we could call orthodoxies of this religion in these servers. Recovery is bad and undesired, and one should always be a system. Fusion is evil, and being one person is almost equal to murder. Everyone is responsible for handling your triggers and walking on eggshells around you. If they don't, that's abuse. Reality checking and fake claiming is bad. People should let you rot in your delusions, and if they don't, then they are abusers and you should avoid them. Self-diagnosis in every single case is good. Any symptom is always equal to a disorder that has to be labeled and put into a pretty jar that you show off to everyone who comes across your messages in the alter introduction channel. If you were to disregard any one of these unspoken rules, you were called an abuser and a fake claimer, cast out and bombarded with people convincing you that you are wrong and that your intentions are malicious and you are a hateful person. Anyway, so fast forward, they have a come to Jesus moment, as it were, not a literal one, but realizing they were faking DID. I felt horrible about what I had done. I knew that it was a moment of desperation, a shared delusion I was unfortunate enough to have been sucked into. But honestly, all I could think about was the people with real DID have to go through on a daily basis. My alters were so distinct, they all had likes and interests that no longer felt appealing to me. I didn't know what music I liked. I didn't know what things I wanted to eat, what I wanted to be called, or what clothes I wanted to wear. This thing is like demonology, dude. Legitimately just like put this kid into like a T-pose state. They were just turned to nothing. I'm doing better now. I have friends and my relationship with my parents has significantly improved. I deleted Discord in September, which was the best decision I ever made. I am suffering mentally, but I am 4 months self-harm free. Congrats, brother or sister, whatever you are. Good on you. I'm considering coming out as transgender and getting treatment for my mental health. My social skills are recovering, and I am finally learning things about myself. I still think about how easy it used to feel, and I want to go back sometimes. DID faking was surprisingly similar to me to what an addiction feels like, but I have set my mind to never relapse into it. I think these things go in waves, and I think the kids are going to be okay. Well, sort of. I don't know. There's got to be a lot of lingering trauma from this. I'm not going to lie. I want to emphasize, too, that it really is not the kid's fault. You are in the most vulnerable state, and then you see seemingly well-adjusted, grown-ass adults on social media with massive followings being like, no, this is good. This is good, and you have it. This is good. You have it. I have it. A bunch of us have it. Join my Discord where we all circle jerk about it. I wouldn't blame any child for getting sucked up into that shit. But now the childs are becoming adults. They're starting to piece things together.
Another one. Another one. Another one.
I'm an 18-year-old girl, and I faked a DID/OSDDD, autism, and tics for about 2 years. Oh, damn, you got the battle pass, dude. You got the bundle. Why did I fake? I was going through a rough time and I didn't feel like I was good at anything or important to anyone. That would be it. That's usually what it is. Having these disorders was a way to make me feel special, interesting, and valid. It was a form of escapism and a way to find community. I was given a lot of misinformation about DID and autism from the online DID faker community, and they encouraged me to self-diagnose. As for the tics, I wanted to be interesting, like TikTokers I saw with quirky tics. My obsession with wanting tics led me to manifesting them. Every time I would feel the urge to make a weird movement or noise, I would convince myself it was a tic. Eventually, it became automatic for me to give into these impulses. Did I fake intentionally? No, I believed I had these disorders. I deluded myself into the entire thing. Yeah, because you were a child and your mind is vulnerable. Now, are all instances of multiple personality disorders just bogus? No, of course not. This is a phenomenon that has existed in the real world to some degrees that we have observed in the medical community, of course. But even in those cases, just because it's happening, does that mean it's good? Does that mean it's something that should be encouraged? I'm skeptical of that fact. Now, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just a person with a microphone. But if this video has taught me anything, it's that being a person with a microphone qualifies you to share a great deal of uneducated medical information. Serious question. If I started a channel where I invited a bunch of self-diagnosed people of various ilk to share their ideologies with the world, and if I were to promise you to sit there through all of those conversations with a very empathetic face, one like this, in fact. Those are just a couple of the faces I could do. I'll workshop it a little bit, but you understand. If I were to make such a channel, would you guys give me 7.62 million subscribers? Would you do that for me? I would like to know. If there's a demand, I'll meet the demand. I've got the curly hair already, so, you know, that works. The only one downside is that he's got me beat on the shitty tattoos, okay? I have a couple shitty tattoos. I happen to like them, but I understand by some people's standards, they might be a little shitty. Holy shit. I mean, holy shit. I can't compete with that level of shittiness.